The electric vehicle revolution was supposed to be a straight line, a triumphant, unstoppable march towards an all-electric future. But right now, the road is looking a lot more winding. Dealership lots, once desperate for every EV they could get, are now seeing them pile up. Meanwhile, in a plot twist nobody saw coming, the humble hybrid, the car we all thought was just a temporary stepping stone, is flying off the shelves faster than they can make them. So, what happened? Was it all just hype? Or is the market telling us something crucial about the real world versus the ideal world? Welcome, everyone. In today's deep dive, we're cutting through the headlines and getting to the truth behind the surprising EV sales slump and the explosive hybrid surge. We're not just looking at the what, but the why, and what it means for you, the everyday driver, and the future of the auto industry. Stick around, because the data reveals a story far more fascinating than you might think. Let's start by confronting the elephant in the room, head on. For over a year, the narrative has been shifting. We've moved from stories of endless EV waiting lists to headlines about slowing demand. But is this a minor bump or a major roadblock? The data suggests it's a complex cocktail of factors. First, and perhaps most significantly, we've reached the end of the early adopter wave. The eco-conscious pioneers and tech enthusiasts who are willing to pay a premium and tolerate charging uncertainties have largely already bought their cars. The market is now facing the far more pragmatic and price-sensitive early majority. This new wave of buyers is asking tougher, more practical questions. They're looking at real-world range, especially in colder climates, where battery performance can drop significantly. They're thinking about charging infrastructure. Is there a reliable fast charging station near my home, my work, or along my regular road trip route? For many, the answer is still no, or at least not conveniently. This creates what analysts call range anxiety and charging anxiety, two powerful psychological barriers that can pause a purchase decision indefinitely. Furthermore, initial quality surveys have highlighted teething problems with some new EV models, from buggy software to high repair costs, giving some potential buyers pause. The shine of the new technology is now being balanced against the practicalities of long-term ownership. Compounding these anxieties is the stark reality of upfront cost. Despite government incentives and falling battery prices, the average transaction price for a new EV remains substantially higher than its gasoline or hybrid counterpart. In a period of economic uncertainty and high interest rates, that initial financial hurdle becomes a wall for many families. They're calculating not just the sticker price, but also the cost of installing a home charger, a near necessity for convenient EV ownership. So, while the promise of lower fuel and maintenance costs is attractive, the immediate financial outlay is a powerful deterrent. But wait, you might be thinking, aren't Tesla models still selling well? And you'd be right. This is a critical nuance in the EV slump story. The slowdown is not uniform. Brands like Tesla, with their established supercharger network and strong brand loyalty, are faring better. The real pressure is on legacy automakers who rushed all new EV models to market. They're now engaged in a price war with Tesla, slashing MSRPs and offering hefty dealer incentives just to move metal. This price cutting, while good for consumers in the short term, is eroding profitability and creating a perception of instability, which can further spook the market. So, the EV sales slump is less about the technology failing and more about a market in a painful, necessary correction. It's a transition from a gold rush to a mature competitive landscape where consumer practicality is now the driving force, not just revolutionary hype. So, if the EV path is looking rockier, where are all these pragmatic, cost-conscious buyers going? The data points to a clear and overwhelming answer: straight into the driver's seat of hybrids. While EV sales have cooled, hybrid sales have exploded, often seeing double or even triple-digit percentage growth. This isn't a coincidence, it's a calculated shift. Hybrids are perfectly positioned as the Goldilocks solution for our current moment. They offer a tangible improvement in fuel economy and lower emissions without any of the primary EV anxieties. Think about it from the average consumer's perspective. A hybrid requires zero change in behavior. You don't need to find a charger, you don't need to plan long trips around charging stops. and you don't have a hefty home charger installation fee. You simply drive it like any other car, and it automatically, silently, saves you money on gas every single day. For the daily commute, it runs efficiently on electric power in stop-and-go traffic, and for that spontaneous weekend road trip, the gasoline engine provides unlimited range and peace of mind. This best of both worlds proposition is incredibly powerful in a transitional period. Furthermore, the price premium for a hybrid over a standard gasoline car is now minimal, making it an easy and justifiable upgrade. Automakers like Toyota, which steadfastly maintained a diversified strategy, are now reaping the benefits, struggling to keep popular models like the RAV4 Hybrid and Prius in stock. The market is voting with its wallet, and the vote is for practical, accessible, and hassle-free technology. Now, let's cut through the noise and look at the cold, hard numbers, because they tell a story that's more nuanced than any headline. If you only listen to the most extreme voices, you'd think the EV revolution is dead or that hybrids have won. The reality is far more interesting. The data reveals a market that is segmenting, not collapsing. When you break down the sales figures, you see that the EV slowdown is most pronounced in the mass market and premium segments, where the practical concerns we discussed hit hardest. However, in the luxury performance segment, EVs continue to see strong growth. Why? Because for a buyer of a high-performance vehicle, the instant torque and cutting-edge tech are still the primary draws, and they are less sensitive to charging logistics or upfront cost. Conversely, the hybrid surge is overwhelmingly concentrated in the mainstream vehicle segments: compact SUVs, mid-size sedans, and family vehicles. This is the heart of the automotive market, where practicality and budget reign supreme. This divergence creates a clear picture. We are not witnessing a simple replacement, but a diversification of powertrains. The data says the future is not a single technology monopoly. Instead, we are heading towards a multi-pronged future where different powertrains, gasoline, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and electric, will coexist for the foreseeable future, each serving the specific needs and priorities of different buyer groups. The narrative of a linear path to an all-EV future was always an oversimplification. The market is now course-correcting towards a more realistic and consumer-driven model. This massive shift isn't just something for executives in boardrooms to worry about. It has real, tangible consequences for you as a car buyer and for the entire automotive ecosystem. Let's start with you. If you're in the market for a new car right now, you've landed in a fascinating moment. For EVs, this slump has created a buyer's market. Dealers are motivated, incentives are high, and you have more negotiating power than you did a year ago. However, you must do your homework on charging infrastructure and total cost of ownership. For hybrids, the opposite is true. High demand means limited inventory, so you may face waiting lists or pay close to the full sticker price. This dynamic is forcing every buyer to make a more conscious choice than ever before. For the auto industry, the domino effect is seismic. Billions of dollars in investments were predicated on an uninterrupted, explosive growth in EV demand. Now, companies like Ford and GM are scaling back some EV factory plans and pivoting to ramp up hybrid production. This isn't them abandoning EVs, it's a strategic retreat to meet current consumer demand and fund their long-term electric goals. The used car market is also feeling the ripple effects, with early-generation EVs seeing significant depreciation, while used hybrids are holding their value remarkably well. This entire situation serves as a powerful reminder that the auto industry, for all its size, is ultimately a servant to the will of the consumer. And right now, the consumer is asking for choice, pragmatism, and a transition that doesn't feel like a leap of faith. So, where do we go from here? The key takeaway is that we are entering an era of the multi-powertrain future. The winner-takes-all mentality is dead. The most successful automakers will be those who can nimbly produce compelling vehicles across the entire spectrum, from efficient gasoline engines and hybrids to plug-in hybrids and full EVs. For you, the consumer, this means more choice and better, more refined technology no matter what you buy. The competition between these technologies will drive innovation and value for years to come. The EV journey is far from over. The current slump is a critical maturation phase. As charging infrastructure expands, battery technology improves, and prices fall, EVs will become a viable and attractive option for a much broader audience. But they won't be the only option. Hybrids have proven they are not a stopgap. They are a long-term, highly efficient solution in their own right. Your next car decision will be less about following a trend and more about honestly assessing your lifestyle, budget, and driving needs. And this is where a smart CTR or click-through rate mentality applies to you. Just as a compelling thumbnail and title make you click a video, the title and thumbnail of a car, its powertrain, its features, its value, must now be compelling enough for you to click and make a purchase. The market is demanding that every vehicle, whether EV or hybrid, has a clear and undeniable value proposition. The data has spoken. It tells a story of a market correcting itself, of consumers demanding practicality, and of a future that is diverse, competitive, and exciting. The road to sustainability has many lanes, and we're all navigating it together. If this deep dive helped you understand the shifting automotive landscape, then do us a huge favor. Smash that like button, subscribe for more data-driven content, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Let us know in the comments. Are you Team EV, Team Hybrid, or are you waiting to see what comes next? Thanks for watching.